I need to not put that oily stuff on the desks too often. Gets all over. I need to not put that oily stuff on. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Oh well. Okay, here we go. Good morning, folks. I am Judge Person. I welcome you to the Temple Municipal Court. And we have two dockets that we're working through. One is a pretrial. And most cases are on the pretrial today, but also I have that I'll be with. I do to just let everybody know that you'll be muted until it's your turn, and then I'll actually want to unmute you and talk to you, but it creates feedback if I have everyone unmute at the same time right now. Just a few things before we get started. I do want to let you know that when you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are methods that we have for accusing someone. That's what a ticket is. It's an accusation. And when you give a plea, you're giving your answer, your response to that accusation. And there are three options for pleading: guilty, not guilty, and no contest. If you plead guilty, you're admitting that offense. You're saying, I did this. Not guilty is the right that we have under the law, which is to proceed to trial. You're contesting the charge, and that shifts the burden of proof to the state. And the third option is to plead no contest. If you plead no contest, you're allowing the court to find you guilty, but you're not admitting or denying the offense. You're saying, I'm not saying yes or no, but I want to move forward with sentencing. If you plead guilty or no contest, I will move into sentencing. If you plead not guilty, I will move that case toward trial. And the first stop is a pretrial. We still are doing Zoom pretrials. It's convenient. It's by agreement. And I think it's really helpful for folks who have a lot of commitments everywhere. So I want to keep that as an option. But keep in mind that you have the right to not be on this platform, to come into court and to ask to do that. If anyone is seeking to do that, and you don't agree to being on this platform, we can shift that into the courtroom. We may need to anyway, but we can do that and skip this step, but I need to know. So let me know if that's you, but I'm assuming that everybody is working through it and you're okay with it, and we're going to move forward right now. But when it's your turn, you can let me know if that is the case. I do want to introduce the state. The state has its own attorney, and that attorney does not represent me. That attorney represents the state of Texas. Also, that attorney is not my direct employee. I don't supervise them. They answer to the city attorney. They are the equivalent of a district attorney at a city level. And so the city attorney is here, Ryan Matson. Mr. Matson, could you unmute and just introduce yourself, please?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ryan Matson. I'm the attorney for the city.
Okay, thank you very much. For the folks on the pretrial docket, you'll meet with Mr. Matson, and just keep in mind that he's not your attorney. He represents the other side. And at trial, he would be seeking to prove that case against you if he is taking it to trial. He does have certain positions that he will take, and he'll be very clear, or should be very clear, about what those positions are. But I don't dictate that to him. Okay. If the parties, you are a party and Mr. Matson is a party, if the parties bring an agreement to me, I often will agree and sign off on that. That's just called an agreement, or a plea agreement. Sometimes it's called. But you have the right to trial. And you don't have a duty to disclose information to Mr. Matson, but he may have a duty to disclose some certain information to you. And you can ask more about that when you meet with him if you wish. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start that process, and then I have other announcements to do. But Attorney Leal, you're here, is that right? I saw you a moment ago.
Yes, Judge, I'm here.
How are you this morning, Attorney Leal?
I'm doing all right, Judge. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for asking. You're here on the McShane case, is that right?
That's correct.
Are there any other cases that you have this morning?
Just the one.
Okay, I'm going to move you into a breakout room with Mr. Matson. And I'll let y'all visit outside of the hearing of the court, and y'all will come back and visit with me afterwards before you leave today, okay?
It sounds great, Judge.
Thank you. Just get that started. And give me a quick moment. I'm going to pull that file up. The next thing I want to let folks know who are here maybe for the first time, and if you're not represented especially, that just to know a few things about how things move through a courtroom. I can tell you that. What I cannot do is tell you what you should do. I can't give you legal advice. I can't apply the law to your case and tell you what your best options are, what you should do, etc. So if you're seeking to do that and you have not yet had your plea accepted by the court, you can meet with an attorney of your choice and come back on a different day with or without an attorney. At the Class C level, attorneys are not court appointed, and there's a long legal reason for that. But if your plea has not yet been accepted by the court and you wish to retain or possibly just consult with an attorney, then you just say, Judge, I need some time. And we'll go ahead and reschedule that case. And that doesn't mean that you're hiring someone. It just means that when you come back, you will have engaged that process, met with someone, perhaps hired them, or decided not to. It's either way. There's no obligation just by taking that step. So again, the way that you just invoke that is to say, hey, I need time. If you plead guilty or no contest, that case will move into sentencing. Generally speaking, and here's kind of how the law works. There's always a rule and then a bunch of exceptions, right? So the general rule is you're found guilty, it goes on your record, you pay the fines and costs. Now, payment of fines and costs, that can be very different per person, okay? And you were given income information to fill out in connection with sentencing. You've also been given that information to fill out in connection with a pretrial. At some point, I'll need that information to schedule or set a bond on that case before trial, but I'm not overly formalized about that until we actually need the information. If you're here meeting with me today, I probably do need the information, and I think I have it from most folks, but if I need to clarify anything, I'll be asking you questions under oath. And that pay or income information helps me look at sentencing and make decisions about what is appropriate with sentencing. So it really is helpful for me to not set you up to fail. So sometimes folks, for example, will come in and say, I can pay this in 30 days. But when we look, they've lost their job, and they're very hopeful that they'll find another job. I am very hopeful that they'll find a job, but that's not always how it works. And so I like to know when those strains are happening for folks, because I can make adjustments to what's happening to you if I know about a problem. Now, I may have questions. I may need to clarify some of it, but I won't know. It's only as good as the information provided, if you get what I'm saying. So please keep that up to date as well when things change, because that will help if you're running into problems. So that's about paying it, okay? And sometimes I need to lower the payment. Sometimes I need to make a reduction. Sometimes I need to shift into community service. But to do that, I have to have correct, proper information. As far as having it go on your record, in the Class C court, there are 4 ways that a judge can defer or find you not guilty. And let me just tell you how those work. First, I'll tell you what they are, and then I'll just tell you how they work. Compliance dismissals, driver safety course options, deferred dispositions, and teen court are all methods we use to keep an item off of a person's record. Compliance dismissals are the easiest. Those are things where the law says if the person will bring this situation up to date, the case will be dismissed. Now, that's not everything that can be brought up to date. For example, if your license is expired and you're stopped and you update your license by your court date and you bring in proof that it's been updated, you pay a $20 fee and get the case dismissed. That's cheaper than the ticket, and most of us would want that if we can get it. The law says the judge shall dismiss if you provide the information. sometimes people don't know what information they needed to bring in. So if I need to work with you on that, I will. But I am supposed to be looking for those because the law specifically says I should do that. So I will do that. Okay. Let me take a pause, hit the pause button, and keep the line moving. On the McShann case, Mr. Matson, Ms. Leal, or Attorney Leal, if y'all could just unmute and give me an update, that would be great. Where are we?
Your Honor, if we could get a reset on this, Ms. Liao's going to have a chance to look over the discovery material that I sent her and get with her client to make sure any paperwork that's needed is submitted.
Okay. And I have two things here, and I just want to check in. I think we're here on pretrial on an illegal dumping accusation. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. There is also an expired motor vehicle registration charge, and I just want to check in with the clerk real quickly because it's over date. What's happening with that case? Give me one moment. I have no problem with the reset. Are we resetting onto Zoom or are we coming into the courtroom, counsel?
I think Zoom is fine, Your Honor.
Attorney Lil, you agree?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Okay. Sorry. Is it solved? Okay, that registration is solved. I just have a slightly older. Are we open on the 4th of July? Are you kidding? July 4th?
Your Honor, I believe the city is closed on 4th of July.
I do too. I think they mean the 14th. Is that right? Somebody forgot to put a 1. That's the 2nd. Okay. So I have July 2nd. Will that work for y'all?
That works for me, Your Honor.
Okay.
That works for me as well.
Attorney Lil, can I email that to the email that we have on file for you today?
Yes, that would be great, Judge.
Okay, we'll email that later today with the new link for the reset. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
With the thanks of the court, you're good to go unless you want to hang out. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. And Mr. Matson, I am going to move you forward with Attorney Glass. And Attorney Glass, can you unmute?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me move you over. And I don't think your client is here. Is that right?
That's correct, Judge.
Okay, thank you. And so just back to the dismissal options that I was talking about, I covered the ones regarding compliance dismissals. The second one is if you qualify and you successfully complete a driver safety course option. Now you have to be on time. Your license has to be one that is qualified and the offense has to qualify. As judge, I should be looking for that and pre-qualifying you. The second step is then we collect the court costs. And then if you'll have a window of time to turn in a course, the proper course, and a record, the proper record, on time to gain a dismissal. If you qualify and you successfully complete that program, the item is dismissed and it does not show up as a conviction on your record. These are from moving driving violations. One thing I want to highlight there, though, is that you do save some money when you engage in that process. Your citation, if you pay it, is going to be more expensive than if you pay just the court costs, the course, and the record and get the case dismissed. There'll be a balance hanging out here that represents a fine. So let me explain that. Every ticket has a cost and a fine. The costs are set by state law. The fines are set by the judge of the court. That would be me. In this process, the costs have to be paid because the law says that they have to be paid. And those costs, when we collect them, are sent to the state of Texas. So we can't waive those or get rid of them in any way other than payment. What I'll say there, though, is I can give you time, but I can't do payouts on that. If you pay, once you pay that and present license and insurance, it begins that window of time to turn in your course and your record. The moment we get the course and the record in, if they're the proper course and record, if it is within the window of time that you have, I sign a dismissal, and this fine that's over here, I waive it. So it's dismissed. The fine is waived. Now, the costs aren't insubstantial. They are They range from about 115 to 169. And I can't change those. They're set again by state law. But the rest of that citation is a fine. And even if you paid that whole ticket and got the item on your record, it would be cheaper to do this process. We incentivize this program financially because we know that people do drive just a little bit better after they engage with the course. And they do so about every 12 months is the sweet spot for getting folks, to drive a little bit better. And driving is one of the few licenses in our culture that you can acquire and never have to update. Lawyers have to go to school every year. Judges go to school every year. Doctors go to school every year. Surgeons go to specific school. You get the idea. But as we drive, we aren't required every year to take and prove that we still can do it, right? But when we have a ticket, we move into a higher group of risk, and folks with a citation and folks 25 and under are our highest risk group. So programs and state laws hopefully reflect that and address that. So we hope that they do. And the driving course is one of those programs. And we've kept it in Texas for as long as I've been on the bench, which is quite a while now. And hopefully we'll continue to do so. I like that people can save money. I like that people can have a way to work on their record if they're able. But also the safety issue can't be underscored enough. So if you're qualified and you plead guilty or no contest, I'll automatically look and see, hey, is this person qualified for this program? That doesn't mean you have to do it. It means I'll tell you about it. If you want to do it, we do it. If you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. Nobody's going to force you. Okay. That's the second one. Remember, I said there were 4. The third one is called a deferred disposition. A deferred disposition is a delay of time and a window of time to get some things done. So, there's a payment process that we need to figure out. There is sometimes a class due or a record due. It just depends a lot on the offense. In a Class C court, on a plea of guilty or no contest, you may ask the judge for a deferral directly. Guilty or no contest, I'd like a deferred. You're allowed to do that in a Class C court without the prosecutor in, well, the majority of cases. If you have a case that doesn't work that way, I'll let you know. But if you ask the judge in a Class C court for a deferral, they are required to entertain that request each and every time with an open thought process about it and to see, if they'll grant it. If they grant it, that's what we do. If they say no, that's the end of the conversation. It's not a debate, but if you ask me, I will carefully consider it each time. I'm very open to it as long as we can sort it out. Mr. Mattson, I think that you and Mr. Glass have had an opportunity to confer, and this is the Isaac Almeida case. Where are we with regard to that matter?
Your Honor, Mr. Glass is going to take an offer back to his client, and he's still waiting on discovery. So if we could get a reset, that would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, given that discovery is not yet done, can we look at July 16th?
That would be fine.
That works for me.
And that's a Zoom reset. Is that okay with you folks?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it is, Judge.
Okay. I'll put it there. I'll send the link to you, Mr. Glass. And I'm sure that Mr. Mattson will get that discovery to you. And if not, we'll address it at the next hearing.
Awesome. Good to see you, Judge.
Good to see you too, sir. And you are free to go with the thanks of the court whenever you're ready.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. And let's move forward with the attorney from the McMahon law firm. Let's see. There you are, Mr. Martin. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, Judge. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for asking. Y'all have several cases, and I'll let you and Mr. Mattson confer at this time.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir. I'm just going to pull those so that I'm ready when they come back out.
Excuse me, Judge. May I ask a quick question?
Yes, Mr. Guerra, you certainly can.
Yes, ma'am. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. So I'm reading over my paperwork and it doesn't state what lawyer or whom I'm supposed to be speaking to. I just wanted to make sure I'm in the right place.
Okay, give me just a moment because I'm doing
Okay, thank you. I apologize for interrupting you.
You're okay. Don't worry. I'm not, I'm only a stickler when it counts. Okay, give me just a second though. All right. So, Mr. Guerra, I think you were a tad late to the meeting and you might have missed this part. At this time, I have you as self-representing, that you represent yourself. The legal term for that is pro se. And you'll be meeting with Mr. Matson, who is the city's prosecutor, which means he's on the opposing side. And that you're coming up, you're in line for that. I watched as people logged in, and I've kept people in the order that they logged in. And what I'll tell you is Mr. Matson doesn't represent you. If you wish to retain an attorney or to just simply confer with one before you get started, we reset, excuse me, we reset your case to give you time to do that. In Class C courts, we don't court appoint counsel. It would take a day to fill up if I explained all of that to you, but that's the status of the law at this time. But so he doesn't represent you, but you will be talking to him. And
Okay.
if you wish to meet with someone, we can reset you. And the way that you invoke that right is, hey, I need time.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I have no problem representing myself. I just wanted to make sure I was in the right area. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're in the right meeting. So for those who are wondering, Temple Municipal Court, and we've got pretrials, and I've got folks to talk to as well. And I'm almost done giving my little talk here, but and we did have a slight late start just due to some technological updates that I didn't realize were needed. So I just wanted to continue quickly. The deferred, remember that you can make that request, guilty or no contest. I'd like a deferred. And we'll talk about it. You'll probably see me do that with somebody here, not before long. And then the final one is if you are a high school student, teen court is where we look at what we look at first. It looks a little like a deferred. It's different because young people are assumed to be in school even in the summer. You might have a summer job if you're a teen. You might not. We'll work with that. But if we're looking at teen court, what is similar about it as to a deferred is there'll be a window of time for you to do certain things in order to qualify for the dismissal. What's different is the assumption is that you're not working and the fees are different. They're lower. Okay. And generally we get some input from the teen court coordinator about what I ought to be looking to do with that case for me to consider. And they sometimes will visit with you as well. So I'll talk to you about teen court if you're a high school student or a middle school student or a homeschooled student. Working towards the high school diploma is what we're looking for to qualify for that program. So those are the 4 dismissal options I have available from the bench. The 5th way that things can be dismissed here is if the prosecutor recommends a dismissal. And I think I've said this before, but that prosecutor, that attorney for the state, I don't hold the hand of that person and tell them how to practice. Okay. Sometimes they make a request to dismiss a case, sometimes they don't. So that's that one. And then the final way that things are dismissed here is if a jury finds someone not guilty at trial, or if the judge finds someone not guilty at trial. Those are the ways to gain a dismissal in a Class C court. So that's really the 101 here. The last thing that I'll tell you is if you are needing an excuse for work or school today at the end, please remind me and we can send that to you. And I'll be verifying how we're going to move to the next step with you. So be letting me know as well if the email is different from the one that we used to send the meeting notice to for today, because we like to use email where we can. It's really convenient for folks. So we'll try to do that and stay convenient where it makes sense. If I could talk to and have Christopher Valverde unmute first, and just Mr. Valverde, I saw you earlier. Where are you?
I'm right here, ma'am.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing good.
Good. Let me get on the same page with you. I have the 2 cases, and right now where we are is that they have gone to warrant after a judgment was entered.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
Right now, my notes are that you would like to know your options, so I felt like we should do that online.
Okay.
And really, I'm kind of open to it. I'm showing you're employed, and that's great, but
No, ma'am. What's called, I'm unemployed. I mean, I work odd jobs here and there.
okay. And then your spouse is the one employed as
Yes, my wife is the one is employed.
okay. But I'm showing that the money was pretty tight, you know.
Yes, ma'am. Money is very tight with us right now.
You put $100 a month, but actually I was inclined to lean towards um authorizing you to complete this through community service, and you can do it in your community.
Okay.
I have a process for that. Now, the way that I work that is it must be an up-to-date nonprofit organization under Texas law. So I can give you my list that's local, and that'll give you some feel for what activities you're looking for. Then I have a process where I want to make sure before you spend a bunch of hours, I want to make sure that the place that you're going, when those hours come in, that I'm legally allowed to accept them. Okay. So I'll have what I call a pre-qualifying moment. And that's going to be no later than July 2nd for you to find a nonprofit organization in your community that works for you and your schedule. And it can be government, it can be any nonprofit, schools that are nonprofits, public schools, nursing homes, food banks, Goodwill, all of those kinds of things are going to probably be eligible, but not all of them are willing to work with you. So the pre-qualifying point, that July 2nd point, is there's a form at the beginning that I'll send to you, and they have to fill that out. And that kind of commits them to working with you as well, so that you don't then work with them and then they go, yeah, we're not going to validate your hours, because I want to make sure you're not wasting time. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll give you a pre-qualifier, okay, sheet, and then a sheet to keep track of your hours for them to fill out with you. It's real simple. It's like an old-fashioned timesheet, like a login, log out timesheet. And
Okay.
that way your hours are logged, and that way you know that you're getting credit. And when I put both cases together and do the calculation, it turns into 54 hours of community service. And the due date finally for those is no later than August 12th. So if they're not done and turned in and verified by that day, you need to be checking in with the court and explaining what's going on. The pre-qualify date is to make sure that wherever you're going is going to count. And that's by July 2nd. Okay.
Okay.
Do you have questions about what I'm telling you? It's all going to be written, and these are forms, and we're going to send them to you. And I will send you my list of places just so you can get a sense of it. And then there'll be some written directions for what the court does and doesn't allow. And these rules are not about what my preferences are, like what I like. They're what the law allows. So
Okay.
I'll send that list too, so that you can read that before you get started. It's not overly complicated. And you seem intelligent enough. I'm sure you'll manage. But do you have questions right now?
No, I was wondering, is there another way about lowering maybe the cost of the tickets? That way I could pay something on it, if that's another option.
It is. Give me a moment. I want to move the attorney forward real quickly, and then I'll be right back with you. Just stay right there.
Okay.
Mr. Mattson, Attorney McMahon, on the Hernandez case, can we start there?
We can, Your Honor.
Okay. What do we have going on?
Mr. Martin is going to send me one more document that we're missing. So if we could just get a reset to give him time to do that, but I assume it's going to be taken off the docket before that rolls around.
Okay, I'm going to schedule that for the 2nd of July. Will that work for you both?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and can I email Mr. Martin to the email that we have on file?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so that one moves forward, and then let's talk about the Dimaj case? Because there's a number of things there.
Your Honor, on all 5 of those, I'm going to be filing prosecutor dismissals sometime today.
Okay,
I'll make sure that those get sent over to the court later this morning.
okay. So that's gonna move forward into dismissal option?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'll look for that from you directly to the clerk today as Ms. Neese.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Martin, I don't think I would have any problems with those dismissals. If there's a problem, we'll reach out. Otherwise, we'll send you copies.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. And with the thanks of the court, you're free to go unless you have any further questions.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, then you're good to go at your leisure. Attorney Miller, I saw you earlier. Let's see.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, great. Let me move you forward. I'm still looking for you. There you are. Your screen is fuzzy, but I mean, it's,
Having some camera issues this morning, Your Honor. Still working on those.
yeah, you were on and then you were off. I'm going to move you over to Mr. Mattson. I can tell by your voice that it's you.
Right. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Okay, let's see. Give me one moment, folks. Miller has this one. And so, Mr. Valverde, give me a moment to look and see. Sometimes I get what you're saying. What I'm going to tell you is these cases, they've gone to warrant maybe twice. And sometimes when that happens, I can work with you, but the problem is a lot of times it's not really, there's not a lot of fine involved, and I have control over fines, but costs, yeah, the fines are very tiny. So the reductions here wouldn't amount to just all that much.
Okay.
I mean, that's why I did not go there first. Are you able to pay anything towards your balance today?
Not today, not till probably Friday when I get some money.
See, like for example, in the violation of the promise to appear, that not coming to court charge, the fine there is $30. So that reduction wouldn't really change things. Most of your fees are things like warrant fees, and state law doesn't allow me to reduce those.
All right.
So it's just there's not a lot of relief that's very quick from that. It just
Okay, so yeah, it would make more sense just to do the 54 hours of community service. And
yes, especially since we've tried payments and it hasn't worked.
okay.
So, I would like to stick with that and have you.
No, I completely understand that. That makes more sense. That makes more sense.
Now, I do want to say one more thing. If you are disabled such that your doctor would say that you should not do community service, the answer isn't then you pay. The answer is if you qualify for community service and you can't do it for a medical reason, a medical doctor, you can get a note and send that in and see what I can do with that.
Okay.
If that's the case, communicate with your doctor.
Okay, man. Sounds good.
The email that we have on file for you, will that email work to send this paperwork through?
Yes, ma'am, it will.
Okay, I will recall your warrants today and I will order community service with that final due date of August 12th and the pre-qualification day of July 2nd.
Okay, sounds good,
So
ma'am.
you're then unleashed to go find it, but it just read everything carefully before you go look, because you'll find that that it makes sense. And I've been doing this the same way for a really long time. And we've tweaked it when it didn't make sense. So, but if you do have issues, you can email back and let us know your questions.
Okay. So after I do my community service, the failure to appear and everything will be lifted from my things for me to be able to get my license.
Right. So there is a hold on your license due
Yes.
to initially, I think it was how long it took to address the situation, because these are older cases. And so once you've completed your hours, then I release the hold.
Okay. All right. I completely understand.
I don't wait until the 12th. If you turn it in next week, which you won't, it's a lot of hours. But if you turn it in say a month, then I release that. And then DPS takes 21 business days, they say, to clear it, which can be up to a month for them.
Okay.
So as far as timing, you want to think about that.
All right.
Okay. Any further questions?
No, that's everything.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. If I could also talk to Catriel Donahue, if you can unmute and tell me how you're doing for starters.
Hi, good morning. I'm doing all right. How about you, Judge?
I'm doing well. I think, let me see why we were going to talk to you. Yeah, because it didn't make sense. So you asked for a payment plan, which is respectful, and it was $25 a month, which I normally have no trouble with. But I'm showing income doesn't meet the demands of your expenses, and your expenses
Yes.
are not unreasonable. So I needed to talk to you because I don't see how this even works. Like, are you in the middle of an eviction process? How are you making?
So currently, my husband lost his job at the beginning of the month. I just started a new job though, last week, but I won't get paid until the beginning of July. So we've worked with our apartment and our truck payments and everything. So they're willing to work with us.
Where are you working?
I now work for the Department of Family and Protective Services for San Antonio.
Okay. Great. Good for you to find that.
Thank you.
Still, it's pretty tight. Now, I could do 25 a month. I don't have any trouble with that. Or I can order community service in your case. And I'm going to let you tell me what works best. But if we did community service, I think you've heard me say it would be in your community and you would find it basically. And it would only be 8 hours in your case. Or I can go with the $25 a month.
Yeah, with my current caseload and everything and training, I really don't have community service time. We're
Right.
required to do 4 extra hour overtime for children without placement and things like that. So, and then I'm on call once a week.
Yes. I guess too, let me look at one more thing. Okay. What is a good day to pay the $25?
I could pay today.
Okay. And then it would just be every month at this time. I'm also going to make a reduction. Your fines are $70. I will reduce that to 30. Actually, I'll reduce that to 25.
Thank you.
So we're taking off $45. I'm just talking to a clerk for a minute. I'm assuming you're going to pay online.
Yes. Just because I live a few hours away from Temple now, so.
Yes. Give me a moment. Let me get that reduction in. I don't want to get you started on paying online until, let me just ask a clerk, if they're paying online and we're setting up a payment plan, how long is that going to take? Do we have to get a clerk to set that up and have her sign it first? In other words, like she would do it by the end of the day, perhaps? Yes. Okay. All right. Here's the best option, I think. I'm going to ask you to log back in at like 4, not to this meeting, but on to the city's website. and you'll pay that $25. We're gonna email the payment plan to you. And once you receive it, you'll know that now it's in the system. But you still need to print it, sign it, and send it back for it to like accept that payment. And once you send it back to us, you can call a clerk probably for the first time and just make sure everything is good to go and that it's properly applied. And then after that, it won't cost more to do it that way versus online. It's the same. There are fees for the credit card company charges. But you can walk through that with a clerk and then make sure everything's good to go. And I would suggest that you call back around between 3 and 4 to do
Okay.
that. That'll just give them time to get that set up so that you're not having to sit here and wait and wait and wait. Okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Do you have any further questions?
I do not.
Okay, you're good to go.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Matson, Mr. Miller, let's check in. And if we could start, please, with, I don't care which one, actually. Let's start with Kip Deitch or Deitch.
Your Honor, there is an offer on that case. Mr. Miller is going to take that back to his client. So if we could reset,
Okay.
that'd be appreciated.
How
Also,
about,
Your Honor, if we could reset for a late July setting, I'll be on vacation early July.
okay. Let me look. I have the 16th right now. If that doesn't work, I can find another date.
About a week's all I would need on top of that, so probably the 23rd if it's available.
Let me look and see. And of course, my system is just. Sorry, working on it. Okay. The 25th
That's fine, Judge. Thank you.
or the 23rd? Let me check in with the clerk. The 23rd? Okay, the 23rd is great.
That's
And
fine.
I will send that over to you. To the email that we used today.
That's fine, Judge. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. And let's move on over to the Hale case. Where are we with
Your
that?
Honor, on that case is pretty much an identical scenario. There's an offer on the table that Mr. Miller is going to take back to his client. So I think we should reset that one for July 23rd as well.
Okay. Mr. Miller, do you agree?
I do, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, hang on just a moment. The Zoom is on the 30th, is that right? Not the 23rd. Okay, we're moving those to the 30th. Because if we're resetting on Zoom,
That's fine, Judge.
It's fine with me, Your Honor.
the 23rd is a live date. Okay, other than that, everybody good? Ms. Neese, you have that for that other case?
Yes.
Okay, all right, y'all are good to go, or Mr. Miller is free to go.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good afternoon.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Attorney Harrell, good morning.
Good morning, Judge.
How are you this morning?
Good, good. Good to see you. It's been a while.
It has been a while. It is good to see you as well. I'm glad to know you're still practicing law. Well, sometimes I think people decide not to, and I don't see them anymore. So it's been quite a while since you've been in court. So welcome back. I'm going to move
Thanks.
you over to that meeting with Mr. Matson.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, and Mr. Swain, you'll be next. And I would like to talk to Avery Stemmons. Can you unmute?
Right here, Your Honor.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, ma'am.
Okay, so right now, kind of where we are is we've tried a few things. We were on community service and it didn't complete. And you're asking for a payment plan, which is not a problem. I don't have a problem with it. I just wanted to kind of check in about it because there was no income disclosed. So I don't know how that's working.
Yes, ma'am. When I made that request for the payment plan, I was still employed. I ended up getting laid off.
Okay.
just last week. I'm currently in the process of finding another job.
Okay,
As of right now, if community service is still an option, I can definitely get that handled. But if not, then it's up to you. I'm sorry.
yeah, it is up to me, but let me ask you a question. What happened last time?
With the scheduling, I was working in Austin, so I was driving about hour or two to get there, and then they made us work overtime. And so I worked overtime at night cleaning planes, and so it kind of messed up with the scheduling on that. I do
I guess,
apologize.
yeah, I guess what I'm wondering is, so then I didn't hear from you and it went to warrant. So here's the thing, there's a due date and we take faxes, emails, letters. I mean, short of some stranger calling in on your case and entering a plea, we don't take phone calls. But, you know, what I expect if I order community service is that someone either does it or they communicate with me on or before their due date. So I'll reconsider it if you will consider that your duty, because if you can't
Yes,
get
ma'am.
it done, you need to apply for an extension with the court.
Yes, ma'am. And I do take full responsibility for that.
Now you're in the Austin area. I think you've been online. You've heard me talk to folks about a pre-qualifying process for anything that I haven't already approved. I have a list of places, but they're local and you're in the Austin area. So I can give you that 2-week window to get a pre-approval of a place down there. And I have, a form to get filled out with that party, whoever you're looking at doing it with. And then a due date, which would be August the 12th. So pre-qualify by July 2nd, due date by August 12th, 29 hours is the total.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
So I'll give you another chance at it, but here's what happens. If you just blow it off, then the only thing I'll take is either full payment or jail credit.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So I will email that to the email that we have on file.
Okay. Thank you.
And can we use the email that you logged in from today that we sent the email to for today's login?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We'll send it to you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Simmons. We'll work with you. You just have to show up. I can't work with the empty chair. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Any questions?
No, ma'am. That'll be all.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
good to go. If I could talk to Sierra Hayden.
Hello, Judge.
Hi. I needed to visit with you because I needed a little bit more information. We have you on a deferral and it's still live. Everything was due. We've passed all the deadlines. I know you didn't receive paperwork at one point, and that was due to some circumstances. And yeah, it wasn't forwarded to you, is what I'm hearing. And so let me first have you raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. Have you been in a shelter or a domestic shelter at any point since we began this process in March?
No, ma'am. I actually, my sister, she suffered a TBI. So I decided that coming home with my parents was the best option. And so that is where I have been. I did, in the midst of taking care of my sister, go into preterm labor. And so that is kind of what has been keeping me from getting everything done and taken care of. I did just deliver on the 4th.
Okay. Now, okay. So the situation was that you didn't know you had community service because it wasn't forwarded to you from your spouse.
Right.
and you left that situation. I don't know why I had thought you had maybe gone into a shelter. Was there a situation there?
Yes, not able to go very much into detail, but there was
I don't.
okay. And like I said, I did come back home to my parents, and I've been here since.
Okay, and so you've been on bed rest. Of course, you haven't been working.
Right.
Is there something like, would your doctor verify that that's the case?
Yes.
How quickly can I get that from you? Because we're almost out of time.
I actually have an appointment today, at 1, so I could hopefully get that to you by the end of the day.
Okay. And then we needed proof of insurance.
Yes, ma'am. I do finally have insurance. I can get that pulled up and sent to you today as well.
Okay. And just as a reminder, excuse me, folks, that's 3 months of insurance. Okay.
Okay.
And then your community service, I can waive with a doctor's note.
Perfect.
If not, I'm sorry. If not, I'm going to reschedule this hearing. In other words, if I don't hear from you today, I will reschedule this to July 2nd.
Okay. Perfect.
I'd like to cancel that and not do that, but I need to hear back from you, okay?
Correct.
Okay. All right, I think we have a game plan to get this wrapped up.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Matson, let's talk with you and Ms. Harrell, and y'all give me a quick second to get the case pulled. Kevin Canary. Okay. This is a public intoxication accusation from April 16th. Where are we on this matter?
Ms. Harrell, I'm going to let you speak first, but you are muted.
Didn't realize I was muted, sorry.
That's okay.
I just received discovery. Additionally, my client may have other misdemeanors pending as a result of the same arrest and in U.S. Magistrate Court. So if we could push this off, I'm already talking to that prosecutor. If we could push this off till the end of July, I think we could get it figured out by then, hopefully.
Okay, we can reset to July 23rd.
Thank you, ma'am.
That is an online reset.
Yes, ma'am.
The 30th, excuse me. Is that acceptable to both parties?
July
Yes,
30th, Judge?
Yes.
Yes, it's fine, Judge.
Okay, great. Can I send that, Ms. Harrell, to the email that we have on file for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then I am going to give you the thanks of the court and let you know that you're good to go, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Matson, you're moving forward, and I'll have you move forward with, let's see, Mr. Swain.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning. Y'all have a number of cases, and I'll move you on forward. And let's see. I would like to talk to, hold on just a moment. Did we address Mr. Stemmons? Avery Stemmons?
No.
He was on there. I thought I spoke with him. Let me look and see. Anything that I handed you. May I see it? Because I don't. Mr. Fellow's not here. That was Mr. Simmons. I don't know why I grabbed that one. It's not any different except that. Um, one moment. Uh, stand. Well, I'm gonna give him a pre-qualification option. I don't know. I picked the wrong one. I'll work on this later. If I could talk to Mr. Santu, can you unmute?
Okay,
I can hear you.
thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
How are you this morning?
Oh, very good.
We had on this one case is a case about failing to yield the right of way, a traffic situation. And on that case, you were required to do you did a deferred, if you remember that deferral that you entered into with Mr. Matson, it kind of looked like this.
Yes, ma'am.
And
And
here,
I paid $274
yeah,
for it.
but there was a driving safety course due.
I didn't notice it, and my attorney didn't notice it. He never told me. Then I had a triple bypass, and I was in the hospital for 2 months. And now I had to borrow a ride from Houston to come here because my doctor says you cannot drive for another 30 days.
This is a Zoom meeting. You were just required to log on, not to drive somewhere.
Oh, I have open heart surgery, triple bypass.
Oh, so you drove to a doctor's appointment.
Yes.
Okay. So you, I don't show that you had an attorney representing you on this case. Give me just a moment and let me check on that.
Okay.
He's the one that signed it, the attorney.
Yeah, I don't know the attorney's signature over a defendant.
That's Daniel Kramer.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, sorry. Okay, so I think that under the circumstances you've described, I'm going to waive that course
Thank you.
since you've been in the hospital. Okay. So actually, your case will be dismissed later today because the final date was June 6th. And I just needed to visit with you about this one issue. Okay?
Thank you, Judge. You're very kind.
Of course, I try to be.
Okay. Thank you.
So the email that we used to set this meeting today, you would have clicked on a link for the meeting.
Yeah.
May I send the dismissal to that email?
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Do you have any further questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you are good to go.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Let's see where we are. William File or Feel, are you here by any chance? Did I miss you? Okay. I am so sorry about handing you that file. Okay. I think we just void that. Apologies. What's strange is I thought I looked at his file. Anyway, okay, let's see. We're moving along, actually, believe it or not. And let's see. Okay, Mr. Matson, Mr. Swain, y'all just tell me which order you want to take these in and start.
Sure thing, Your Honor. On all four of them, actually, an offer has been conveyed. So Mr. Swain's going to take those offers back to his clients. And I think the July 2nd reset date should be fine unless Mr. Swain would like more time.
Mr. Swain, does that date work for you?
Yes, I think that should be fine, Judge.
Okay, then I will let you go. And with the thanks of the court, we'll email those to you as soon as we have those set up in our system.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Matson, moving you forward. Sorry, I've just got to make those quick notes. Moving you forward to talk to Brett Frogner. Excuse me saying that wrong. How do you say it?
It's Frongner.
Frongner, okay.
Frongner, close enough. No big deal. No big deal.
Probably I'm not the first one. Okay, so I will send you over to
No, ma'am.
to meet with Mr. Matson.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Luis Mundo Amnesty, are you here by any chance? Because I don't show you here and I just want to check. Is a pre-commission. This is information from Mr. Stimmons. Folks, I'm here, but I am just gonna do some paperwork in front of you.
Good morning, Judge.
Morning, we'll be with you soon.
Well, I just wondered if I might be able to bother you to see where I am in line. We're trying to have a meeting that I had scheduled. If I knew that it would be a little bit longer, we might be able to sneak that meeting in. But actually, I think I've seen a few people drop off. Is it just me and one other now?
And they shouldn't be dropping off. I think they'll hopefully come back in. I actually had you next. Will that work?
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's great.
Okay,
All right. Thank you.
you bet. Okay. Mr. Franchner and
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Matson, this is an accusation of failing to stop for a school bus. Where are we with regard to this matter?
Your Honor, I wanted to see if you would consider granting Mr. Fronchner defensive driving on this ticket.
It's not eligible under state law.
That's correct. I forgot about that. Okay, then in that case, we're going to go back and continue in the breakout room.
Okay, no problem. However, Mr. Franchner, are you able to click back over to that meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
I can't resend you like I did last time.
I can go to there you go. I got it. Yes, ma'am.
Cool. Yeah. That's okay. Did she send us anything? Doctor's note and insurance, right?
The insurance, yes. Okay, I will hold that.
Just hang on to it.
Yeah, I'll just hold it. Wait till I get there.
I bet she does it though, because she's seeing her doctor today. So. Okay. Where are we, gentlemen?
Your Honor, if we could get a reset on this case, I think I need a little bit more time to take an in-depth look at the officer's footage before we continue.
Okay. If I reset you both to July 2nd, is that a possibility?
Yes, Your Honor, that's fine.
And you, sir?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay, that'll be online and I'm gonna send it the new link to the email that we used for today. Will that work for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then I'll let you go and we'll see you back in about a month-ish, both of you. And I'm gonna move you forward, Mr. Matson, to Chris King. He is the attorney for Cole Kafudi, excuse me. And from the law firm, from Robert Callahan's law firm. Okay, moving y'all over to that meeting.
Thank you.
Good morning. It's funny when I'm out of town, everybody just pushes everything into there without sorting. I don't know why.
We do have something going on here, we're trying to, stop putting the shutting stuff in the there and, one of the computer day. The wasting of their time, I see for extensions and they've done hours. Extension.
Yeah. Oh.
You have to explain all of it, but they don't have to see it should be.
Not if it's something that you know that I always grant.
It has everything it needs.
Yeah,
Then it needs it.
it's needless resetting. My biggest thing is not that I'm looking to not do work. It's if we're looping people around, they get lost and then they don't know what they're supposed to do. And so it makes a problem that where there wasn't one. The more people get reset, the more likely they are to slip through cracks. Of course, I don't, but I
But we'll
don't.
get Melissa getting on this, there's no notes on there.
Mhm, sure. Oh, about the recall? Yes. Sure. What about on here?
Oh, but I've already done all that, I was just keeping it together.
No problem.
So I could finish off.
Okay. No problem. Other creditors, debtors. I'm sure that's true.
Oh.
We still have an opening. Tell your good friends. Tell your good friends. She was saying you'll find somebody. Yeah. That'd be great. You got to be on board to train that person. So, yeah, so I would like them to come to me. Not to buy that data, but actually. See, here. Who will? Good. That might help. That might help a lot. Oh, are we back in? Excuse me, folks. I've got to talking to a clerk. Tell me where we are on the Kafudi case.
Your Honor, Mr. Callahan is, or sorry, Mr. King is going to take an offer back to his client.
Okay.
I think if we could get a reset towards the end of July, that way there's time. I believe that this client is in the military, so there may be some scheduling conflicts. That'll just give him time to get everything that we need.
Okay. So I have the 16th and then I have the 30th. Which is better?
30th works.
Okay. Great. We'll email that to the email that we have on file. Will that work for you?
That's perfect.
Okay. We'll see you later in July. You're good to go.
Thank you. I'll take care.
Thank you. And Mr. Guerra, let me unmute you. There you go. And let me move you over to that. Let me move you over to that meeting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Reyes, you'll be next. And I just want to make sure that you're going to be great. Hi.
Hi.
We'll have you next. And I just wanted to make sure everything was working on your end because you've been on the, it's okay, but your video's been off. And so I just wanted to make sure that everything was working.
Yeah, it is. I just had turned off my video since I was just waiting. Would you rather me have my video on for the time? Okay.
You know, when I first started doing this, I was really a stickler about that. And then I started seeing things people were turning their videos off for. And I was like, you know what? You know better than I do whether that video needs to be on. So I don't worry about it as long as you're there. But I do like to confirm that everybody's, their microphone's working, their video's working. Because once you're in that meeting, I'm not in that meeting. I won't be able to help.
Yeah, for sure. I just have like a dog next to me. That's why I don't want him like barking. And sometimes I'm like looking down, so I just didn't want to be a bother. So that's all.
You're not. What kind of dog?
He is some sort of mix. He looks like a schnauzer, but he's half poodle. So yeah. Or I'll show you.
Sure.
This is him.
I love to see dogs. Oh, what a sweetie. Oh,
That's how he's just right next to me. But yeah, sometimes I'm like petting him and stuff like that just to like make sure he gets the attention he needs. But that's why
if I had a dog here, I'd be petting it too.
For sure.
Okay. Well, you're next. So
All right. Thank you so much.
they don't usually take a long time. So we'll be right with you.
Thank you.
Of course. Okay, let's see where we are. Let me get Mr. Getter back over. Oops. He hung up or got disconnected. Mr. Matson, in the event that he logs back on, where were we with that matter?
Your Honor, I'm going to be dismissing this citation.
Okay, you're sending that over?
Yes, I will.
Okay, he may have not realized we needed to come back over, so I'll sign it when you send. Oh, there he is. I'll let him know, but I'm going to send you over with Mr. Reyes to y'all's meeting.
Thank you.
Reyes, you can unmute.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Guetta. You can unmute. Oops. I think I hit the button when you hit the button. I can't hear you. Try one more time.
Okay, there you go. Can you hear me?
Yes, the prosecutor let me know that he's actually sending over a motion to dismiss, which I will sign. So once I sign that, I will
Thank you
email
so
it.
much.
Yes, sir. I will email it to the email that we have on file. Okay.
Perfect. I sure appreciate both of y'all's time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we should have that to you this morning.
Perfect. Thank you again. I sure appreciate it.
Yes, sir. You're good to hang up. Okay.
Alrighty. Y'all have a good one. You take care.
You too. It's the first juvenile case manager seminar she's ever been to. Mhm. That's cool. I'm glad she's doing it. No, I am too. There's one I'm sending over to you. Her name is Kiara Johnson. She is on bed rest, and normally she's like a med tech at Scott and White, but she has two kids, one on the way, a third on the way, no child support, and she's now on bed rest. She's indigent, but really I need a doctor's note to waive them, and I kind of would like you to reach out to her because it's going to get confusing if I try to route through there. Sorry, but it just is because it's like if then. And I have found that if I say, if you can't do this with this person, then do this. And they read the first part and they say, well, I can't do that. No, then do that. And they're like, I can't do that. They never look. I don't know why. It's really weird.
There's not a lot of common sense out there.
Mhm. I have to admit to you that I have things from teen court at home that I will be bringing in tomorrow. I'm sorry. Folders and none such. Yeah. So I don't know where we're putting all that stuff, but I guess there's space upstairs.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We never, remember her name, why, I don't know. Schools never got a hold of us to say that for you and us to all read about the dates for next year. You know, I sent them an email, but since we're gonna be gone, I didn't push. So, Crystal, I don't know why that name just fell me for a moment. So I wanted to get with you about what we wanted to do to get that moving. I know they're all gone for, yeah, summer.
Yeah.
And same what we do to make some of the arrangements to overuse the April next year, because usually we would be signing a contract now.
Yeah.
Or we're gonna try someone else. And we need to get that contract signed.
I mean, I need to visit with Brent about what are the plans for that place too, because I am now hearing that they're thinking about building another center and just kind of not knocking that one down, but I don't know, making it storage or something, because it's just too big to maintain and people don't want a space that big that much. So I don't know. Let's get a check-in on Matthew Reyes's case. Mr. Matson?
Your Honor, Mr. Reyes wants to have a trial.
Okay.
But I do believe that he has some scheduling parameters that are going to need to be causing his upcoming hearings to be condensed. So if you could have that discussion with him, he'll be able to explain it better than I am.
Okay. Tell me what's going on before I start making assumptions.
Yeah, so I am going to medical school pretty soon. But I have an acceptance right now with TCOM, which is in Fort Worth. And I'm planning for that right now. But I also am on the waiting list for Uniformed Services University. And I'm planning to do the military regardless of where I go for medical school. But the Uniformed Services University is like directly, I guess, through it. And through that program, I'm gonna have to do the officer training school, since I'll be an officer right when I start medical school for that. And that would be before medical school starts. And if they call me like for that waiting list, I guess, then like I would have to go to boot camp right away for that essentially. And yeah, school would start in August, but for TCOM, then I would be leaving for Fort Worth on June 22nd, and school would start on July 12th, or orientation commitments, I guess, for medical school.
Okay. So I don't know how to accommodate all those if-then statements.
Yeah.
What I can tell you is, if you want a trial, I schedule trial, and the law is you have to be here.
Yeah. Okay.
And my next available is July 24th.
Okay.
And, there's some ability to move that into like August, but that doesn't sound any better for you. And, the court, I think we've seen enough national news to know that, if you have a court date, you have a court date. So, I can do your paperwork right now. We can email it to you, and I can I can sidestep one hearing and get you in, in July. But what I can't do is make availability that I don't have. So, that's what I can do. I can schedule it for the 24th with the understanding that if you can't be here, you apply for a reset, but that reset is going to move you to the 21st of August.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can email the forms over to you and just start with the July 24th date.
Okay. Yeah. I guess yeah, that should.
I mean,
That
you
should-
have the right to have 6 people take the stand and make a decision as to whether or not you're guilty, and that's called a jury trial. And here at the municipal court, it's a 6-person trial. If you waive that right and the state waives that right, you would then be scheduled for a bench docket. The bench docket dates are slightly different. So let me give you those. The 10th of July is maybe available. Let me check. Yes. The 10th of July is available for the bench docket, and the 14th of August is available for that bench docket. So what do you say?
The 10th of July. Yeah, I guess for now, would I be able to?
Not a for now, because with the bench docket, you're waiving your right to a jury trial to get on that docket for the judge to hear the case. So
Okay.
if we're doing a bench docket, I mean, courts are not for kicking the can down the road. That's just the wrong approach.
Okay.
Right. So they're like absolute. I mean, I have the right to throw you in jail if you don't show up. That's how absolute it is. Now, I work with you first if I can. So it's not like I'm hot, eager to do that. But what I'm saying is that's how serious it is.
Okay. Yeah. I guess like what I was trying to say was like, can I keep the 24th date?
Yes. Yeah, you have the right to have a jury hear the case.
And then if like later down the line I choose, can I do the earlier or like
No, it's going to fill up.
okay.
You're not the only person that we
No,
see.
for sure.
It's going to fill up and you won't be able to like switch and move it around. We set it, and the assumption should be that's what we're doing. And then sometimes like people have COVID and I say like, you don't come in with COVID, so we'll move it. But there's very few reasons to change the date.
Okay. I'll just do the July 10th then.
Okay, so you are waiving your right to a jury and you want a bench trial.
Yeah.
Does the state also agree to make that waiver and waive your right to jury?
Yes, Your Honor, the state has no objection to that.
Okay, so I will send this over. Once you sign it, it's formal, okay? So this is an informal discussion, but read it carefully. If you change your mind, don't sign the waiver. Write back and let us know, I don't want to waive that. Move me to that July 24th date, okay? But I'll need it back today, okay? And this is gonna just save you, the tedium of scheduling a time to come in and do that. And I normally require people to do that. But in this case, I'm making an exception because of the schedule stuff. So, okay, we'll email that over to the email that we have on file, okay?
Okay, will do. Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome. You're good to go.